It is 13 minutes to 7. I always look forward to this time where we get to delve into some local history. And there's only one person that I'll delve anywhere with, and that is Harold Peacock from History Out There. How are you, mate?
Oh, very well, thank you. Looking forward to our delving experience this morning, Damo.
Exactly. We're going back 150 years.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, this month is the 150th anniversary of this story. That's reports of Ellen the Cutter gracing the streets of Dalby.
Oh, okay. So let's tell the story, Harold.
Yes, it was in May 1875. Reports appeared of an Eleanor Clinch being charged in the police court in Dalby with stealing a silver watch, gold chain and a cash box containing upwards of £35 in cheques and notes. But this story is far more remarkable than that one charged. You see, the accused was known by many names. There was Ellen Clinch, alias Ellen Simple, alias Ellen Morris, alias Ellen Morley, and most impressive of all, alias Ellen the Cutter.
Oh.
Now, prior to Ellen the Cutter's appearance in Dalby, across a 20-year career, she had at least 34 court appearances and 17 convictions for things like drunken disorderly, obscene language, stealing clothes and cash boxes, and for good measure, one for prostitution.
Oh.
Now, Ellen showed a remarkable talent for ensuring both evidence and witnesses never saw the light of day. She was discharged in half the charges she faced for lack of evidence. It just simply wasn't there. And sometimes witnesses changed their statements. But when she came to Dalby, Ellen made one fatal mistake that was her undoing. In 1875, Ellen went to work for the Dalby horsebreaker and well-known racing identity, Morgan Kavanagh. Now, he was the owner of the equally well-known racehorse, Carbine. No, that's not the Melbourne Cup winning Carbine,
No.
but the original by the name that dominated Dalby horse racing right from the early days. In fact, winning the Maiden Plate, the Dalby Town Plate, and the Christmas Handicap right off the bat. Anyway, one night, Ellen aroused Kavanagh, telling him that she noticed a man running away from the stable in which Carbine was occupied. Mr. and Mrs. Kavanagh got up, and Kavanagh searched the stables but found no one there, and the horse was quite undisturbed. On coming back in, he thought of his cash box and looked for it in his bedroom but found it was gone, and with it £30 as well as his watch and chain.
Wow.
Now, suspecting his servant Ellen, he sent for the police. Now, the watch was discovered buried near the house. The empty cash box was also found outside, but the police had no evidence linking them to Ellen. And so she of course denied everything,
Yes.
so she was let go. The next morning, Ellen went to visit a Mrs. Catherine Moran, who herself was a convicted thief, having only just been released after 6 months imprisonment for stealing a quite significant amount of money that included 19 half gold sovereigns. Anyway, Ellen was allowed to go into the bedroom to do up her hair, and that's when she appropriated a pair of earrings lying on the dressing table.
Right.
Now, when faced with the accusation, Ellen was, of course, indignant and demanded to be searched, which didn't happen. Ellen then went to visit the boarding house in Cunningham Street in Dalby of Mrs. Mary Ann Green, and she herself would shortly be charged with robbing a lodger. Now, this is when Ellen made her mistake. You see, she trusted Mrs. Green and asked her to look after a pair of earrings for her. They were the ones she'd appropriated in the bathroom.
Right.
Now, Mrs. Green immediately informed the police, and Ellen the Cutter was then captured with the evidence to convict. Now, faced with this information in the Dalby court, Ellen elected to be dealt with summarily and was sent to the Toowoomba jail to be laid up for 3 months. Now, this signalled pretty much the end of her storied career. But how she got her name Ellen the Cutter? Well, back then, cutter was someone who cut cloth and sold the pieces. And Ellen did have a liking for stealing clothes, so maybe that's where she got her name.
Yeah.
But Damo, there's so much more to tell about Ellen. You see, look, in the coming weeks, listeners can come to my website and hopefully I have more to share about this 19th century villain. She came undone when she came to Dalby. I think there's a lot more to Ellen the Cutter for me to tell.
I'm sure there was, and we will no doubt hear some more. And as you said, people can read that on your website. You'll be posting this story up a little later this week.
Absolutely. You can go online to historyouthere.com and you'll see the story of Ellen the Cutter when she was in Dalby.
Fantastic. And also, it's a good chance for people to reread over a few of those other ones as well. You're doing a special project coming up and raising funds too, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm travelling up to Arnhem Land in July to spend time with community and raise money for Drug Arm, which is a 176-year-old charity that works to reduce the harms of alcohol and other drugs. And Drug Arm has offices right across the Darling Downs and the Granite Belt, so
Yeah.
The name should be familiar with people.
All I can say is a good thing that Ellen the Cutter didn't work for Drug Arm.
Well, we would have welcomed her to try and help people.
Yes, as long as she didn't help herself to the donations. But anyway,
Yes.
mate, always good to catch up. Thanks so much for that, and we'll look forward to talking again next week.
See you then.
Visit historyouthere.com to read that story and many others. That's historyouthere.com. We're going to take a break and come back with our birthdays.